You've been listening to Lee Love Me or Murder Me from Kill Altars, and we've turned Peak Time into a haunted house. But that represents the beginning of Kill Altars in a lot of ways, and I have Nikos Kennedy and Hisham Barucha from the band here to talk with me all about it. Unfortunately, we are missing vocalist Bonnie Baxter. She got trapped somewhere in the ether, but I think Nikos and Hisham will be able to explain to me what on earth is going on there.
Well, that is the first thing that Bonnie ever played me from this tapes that her mom has been archiving since the 70s. And then we got this box of tapes about 5 years ago into our apartment, and Bonnie had an idea for a new band while she was doing this electronic project. And she told me the name of the band. And then she played me this tape, and then I was like, no fucking way. I'm not doing this. This is too weird and dark. And it really bugged me out. But now it's like almost like meditative to me. I just felt like I was meditating right there and chilled out. And it's like super creative for her mom to be doing something like that back then, I feel like. With these like all these cassette machines, all these different Radio Shack machines that she like dubbed over and over again using two at once. And she's just like always trying to... she was always making shit. She was like really prolific in that sense, like without knowing why she's doing it, you know?
It was like almost like a Warholian. I feel like it was just like, it sounded like the things that I've heard are just recordings of her having conversations or these skits she's doing by herself, and they're pretty incredible. It's like kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But to be able to make something or start, like for Bonnie to start with that, to come up to us being a band has been a pretty cool evolution that sort of naturally happened.
I want to talk more about this process, but first I should let people know that Nikos, you and Bonnie were in a band called Shadowbox, which you said is officially dead. The Facebook is done. The SoundCloud's off.
That's right.
It's dead to us now.
No
but that was more of like a sort of dark electro project, and did have elements of like noise and experimental stuff, but was a little bit more like straightforward than what Kill Altars is. And so when was it that Bonnie came to you with these first tapes and told you she wanted to make a band out of it?
Like 3 years ago or something?
Longer than that, actually. Like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we were on the couch. She had just gone to Red Bull Music Academy and finished. And then she started telling me all this stuff when I was like focusing on trying to make the next Shadowbox record. And she's like, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. And I was like, you know, and then after that, of course, like we fleshed it out. We record all this shit in our apartments. Bonnie's very prolific with these Korg electric drum machines. She's been playing on them for so long that she just like mutates them into however she wants to. It's just like the best way. Some people use Ableton on laptops. They can get their voicings out musically, but she was able to do it so quickly with these drum machines and get these like very off-syncy swinged beats that and synths that just like sounded like guitars. And I was like, oh, this is really freaking cool. So like we just like recorded a bunch of stuff, and then luckily I met my buddy Matt Kilmer, who had a space in Gowanus with this like $7,000 5,000 watt QSC subsystem. And then for 2 years we didn't tell anybody about this project, not the name, not what we were doing with it, and we were like rehearsing it, and then we were like, we need a drummer, because it needs to be we need a band. That's just like how it has to be. And so we had like a friend help us out, who's like helped us out before. And he was like, all right, dude, like I'm not gonna fucking schlep my drums around anymore, like helping you guys out, whatever. But it was like the timing was just like perfect. A friend of ours had to introduce us to a shaman, and then like it was like the biggest light that ever like took place in our lives as far as music goes, and really was able to like see beyond just what me and Bonnie were doing and really make it into this musical journey that we've been on for like the last, I don't know, 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like when so our friend Jesse Lebo introduced us, and then because I was going to do visuals we were going to do visuals for the Shadowbox performance at PS1. And so when I went, I heard the music and I was like, I got to play drums on this. I was just like, can I jump on the drums? I just totally bum rushed the jam.
Yeah.
And then like I feel we did the visuals for that show, which was awesome. And then
So sick.
we did like collab shows before. Like I sort of like joined Kill Alters. It was like Shadowbox and Soft Circle, or Kill Alters and Soft Circle. And then it sort of seemed like it would just be like better to just be in the band as a Kill Alters. So that's sort of how it went down.
Yeah, Hisham, I was wondering what drew you to the music that you heard Kill Alters playing. What was it sonically, or something that you envisioned for the future of the band that made you want to be a part of it?
I mean, it was just like heavy electronics and with a really noisy vibe, and it was just so powerful. And it just brought me back to like when I first like started playing with the Black Dice. Like it had like this visceral sort of energy, and I just had like I was like, these sounds are my kind of sounds. Like I totally understand these sounds. So I felt like it was the first like meeting these guys and playing with them felt like the first time since I was in Black Dice to have like a real band feeling and a real like a connection to how we sort of like compose all the music, and so it's just been a real pleasure.
And me and Bonnie were like, sorry to interrupt. Me and Bonnie were like listening to a lot of the stuff that Hisham lived through that era. So like Yamataka Eye and Black Dice and Lightning Bolt, and watching a lot of stuff on YouTube from like Japanese artists and noise scenes. So like it was just like sort of like subconsciously these two aliens like just like formed with each other. It was like really cool. It was very natural and organic.
Yeah, it was like I was tripping out when I started talking to these guys about just what music they listened to, and it seemed like they didn't go through any of the same channels that I did, like, or, you know, all the kids who like lived in our early 20s in New York, you went to other music and you heard about like this reissue or that, and they weren't here when that was going on. So to arrive at that kind of like sonic sort of like environment was just so crazy to me. I was like, how did you get here from like listening to, you know, Tool and what's that?
You have to throw the Tool reference in there. Sean keeps getting me these patches or T-shirts for Tool. We've like an inside joke going on, whatever. I'm not like a huge Tool fan, but
yeah, right.
we had some funny moments with that shit. But we came from, you know, me and Bonnie came from a really secluded musical background, really stifled. Except for Bonnie, like all the '90s stuff that everybody's like playing out right now, and a lot of the R&B stuff and a lot of the soulful or early hip hop stuff. Bonnie knows every fucking word to that shit. Like she's just so fucking clued in at a young age. She's doing a lot of hip hop and R&B and soul stuff, and so like it's cool to see her like, oh, I know that. I was like, I don't know any of this shit. I'm like still learning, you know. And
she was getting into doing all the skits with her mom too. So that like that's how all of that ties into. It's not just like straight rips of what her mom was doing like at home. It's just like she's actually in the recordings, like like in the House of Mountain, like a release, like the Lalas are both of them.
Yeah, it's Bonnie and her mom on the Casio keyboard. No, just like yelling at each other. And chugging along.
Yeah, and then all the like the video footage that's in the video of her childhood and her mom that's real shit.
Yeah, none of the, we are like a sample-free band, I like to kind of say, but all our sounds are all from us. The drum machines are all generating the music, and the tapes are all ours. So nothing is from YouTube or the internet or any of that shit. Everything's from VHS, and like we have hundreds of cassette tapes of this stuff. So it's been fun.
I want to talk more about the process of getting these cassette tapes and getting this raw, in every sense of the word, source material, and forming that into a band and then into a live show. But let's hear something from this Hausu Mountain release that you guys have been talking about. This is out July 28th, and it's a reissue of your older release. It's called No Self-Helps. So we'll hear one of the Lala songs. This is La 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 Song Part 2. You can hear Bonnie and her mother on this one. And then we'll hear Ego Swim, and we'll be back in the chat with Nikos and Hisham from Kill Alters right here on Peak Time. We've been listening to a couple selections from No Self Helps by Kill Alters off the cult Chicago label Hausu Mountain, and I have Nikos and Hisham from New York City band Kill Alters here with me right now. So I don't know if we explicitly explained before, but Bonnie Baxter, who's the vocalist in the band and plays synths and all sorts of other things, who is not here with us right now, but Kill Alters is made out of source material, VHS tapes, cassette tapes of her mother, who has some pretty severe OCD, Tourette's, and sort of like grappling with mental illness. I was wondering, first of all, for you guys being in this band and not having Bonnie's mother as like a direct family member, it's not one of your mothers or your sister, whatever. How does it feel to you when you're making this music and playing this music? Bonnie herself is processing her relationship to her mother and growing up with her and appears on a lot of the recordings. But you guys are sort of like outside. What is it like for you?
Well, me and Bonnie are married, so it was fun at first because we were like, this is so fucking dark and weird and like, oh, this is so fucking crazy, like, and we're just like, and like leaking every week. We were doing these archives from the tapes, like every week we'll put up content on SoundCloud, and like all these people like digging it. People were digging it, but I found that the regressive nature of that for Bonnie, mentally, health-wise, was not the greatest thing to do, and that we needed to do things a little bit more when we felt it and what our mood was, and how not let it take over and become this like job thing to do or something like that. And also, it's not good for Bonnie to constantly be searching through all the darker side of things that were on those tapes. So with Hisham, he's got a really great laugh, and I like to hear it all the time. So we would we'd have rehearsal, and then we'd have this huge fucking sound system we just blow shit out of, and then I was like, yeah, we gotta like play that one where she farts on it. Like, let's play that for him and see what he says to it. I'll videotape it, whatever, So we just like it. For me, it's very, very personal, but I'm also very addicted to the source material, like someone would be, like pre-internet culture where they were able to send tapes to each other. I'm like, no one's ever heard this shit before, and then I was able to like put it on my phone and like walk around in the early mornings and really feel like a voyeur staring into this woman's life, struggling, trying to deal with her addictions and her illnesses and the dysfunctionality of the father and all that stuff. So it was just it was kind of crazy. But for Hisham, I'm not really sure. Like,
I mean, I feel like I came in like right when you were saying when the band was maybe transitioning from just like maybe a darker point in getting too obsessed with the content or something. Yeah. So trying to bring some light back into it. And then I feel like we definitely all talked about like our sort of like life traumas that we had when we were like younger. Everybody goes through something. Like, I talked a lot about like my dad's death when I was a kid. And then I feel like just like we bonded through like that stuff, but then also saw that we all wanted to not get stuck in like one sort of like type of music and getting too obsessed with just using or like always having it like the bass have to be those samples. And Bonnie also wants to progress as a person, and have fun with it and make it a more positive thing, not just have to be like, this is the dark belly of what my past is, and like expressing through that. So I feel like it's just more fun, like for everybody to just be able to express like what they're trying to do, and like the interests change. But I totally respect like how it started being like a way for her to express like how she felt about this, what she went through in her childhood. Therapeutic. Yeah, so like that's like the progression till now has been cool, and really fun. Like, so I feel like we're bringing some positive light to it.
Yeah, I think also one thing that was striking for me, I interviewed Bonnie when Kill Alters was a younger project, maybe a couple years in, but right when Kill Alters had started to play out. And one thing that was striking to me was, some things that she was playing me that you guys had been uploading to SoundCloud, I was reading as dark, and she was like, oh no, that was like my mom actually being really funny. And then there were other things that seemed really funny that were really dark. So it really sort of played with this convention of how one might interpret something, like what is the real meaning? Can this be lighthearted and really heavy at the same time?
Yeah.
I was wondering how people have been reacting to this stuff when you've been playing it live. You guys have been playing live all over New York. You opened for Lightning Bolt the other week at Pioneer Works. You played with Z's. You played with Shilpa Ray. I mean, there's not like really a week that goes by that I don't see a Kill Alter show being announced. So that's really awesome. But how is the audience sort of interpreting this or taking this experience?
I can't really tell. I mean, sometimes people really feel it, and then sometimes people just, I feel like it's a good sign always, like with bands and music, is like, it's like polarizing. Some people, really like it immediately because it's pretty groove-based music really when it comes down to it. But it does have these sort of like weirder elements and more experimental things. But also, like, it's funny to be playing with certain bands that come from my sort of past, like maybe came out of like late 90s, like early 2000s experimental music. Like, I feel like the second they see like a laptop on stage, they're just like cringe and don't listen. And you're like,
get used to it, motherfuckers, because it's the new format, okay? Like,
there's just so much you can do with it.
Format.
So it's a funny thing. Like, so we have like those kind, like we definitely get some people who drink the Haterade, but whatever, like, but
the most part is pretty great though. We have like, when it's good when musicians come and fuck with you, and they're like DMing you, and they're like hitting, like these cool bands started hitting us up. Machine Girl, like No Life, all these like really cool younger dudes that like fuck with it, like fuck with Hisham's history. They know that stuff. They know more about music than I do, so they're constantly teaching me. And then also like when we play shows, maybe people aren't moving so much because it's the first time that they're hearing it, so it's hard, they don't know all the songs and stuff like that, but they don't leave the room. And so we know we're doing the right thing there, and we work super fucking hard on our live sound. Like, we had a DJ-like system in our studio, and then I put everything through that shit: drums, drum machines, vocals. We really built a sound for it that was very focused. So when we play live, we're constantly tweaking it and making things be as best as possible, but also keeping up with the technology so that we don't have to carry amps all over the place like Hisham had to all those years. You know what I mean? This motherfucker was like, we did have amps at first, and Hisham was like, you got a computer, why do we have amps? I'm like, I don't want it. And I'm just like, you're right. We got to fucking figure this shit out. And we did. So it's been, it's still a work in progress, but I feel like younger kids who come out get really stoked on it. They have a lot of fun. They like feel it,
Yeah, I feel like we're always just trying to push there is a futuristic sort of element. So we're like starting to use these like Sunhouse sensors on the drums. So they're basically like really high like they work like really sensitive triggers, but it's a really deep program. Greg Fox used it a bunch on his like new record that's coming out. But we're like trying to always like make sounds that we haven't heard before, or like try to make, we're just trying to be futuristic yet like, reference the things that we like. And I don't ever have any hang-ups about like where where my sound references come from, but like with respect, I'm not like being like, oh, I'm gonna rip this sound and that sound and not even like talk about it, but there's so much music that I'm influenced by, that we're all influenced by. So.
Yeah, we love fucking music, man. He's such a great DJ. I don't know if you ever seen him DJ, but like, holy shit, we'd have these like late night. We opened up for Deerhoof on a few dates. And like, I was trying to stay awake in the fucking car. He's like, give me the fucking aux, whatever. And then he's like DJing this crazy, like as like weird going through Baltimore, like construction zones at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's like DJing this weird fucking shit. I'm like, dude, you're bugging me out, but it's keeping me awake. Keep going. It was like really cool. So like, we don't think about it too much. It's just like, we're really just pushing as much as we can, living in this fucking city, trying to survive. And So I don't know.
Just enjoying like all the things that you get to experience here, you know, and just like putting it into your music. Like, why not? Like, I don't want to make like more borders. Like, fuck that. Like, there's too much like negativity in the world right now. Like, let's embrace our culture, you know, and like, you know, I'm not talking culture vulture. I'm just saying like, let's mix it up and like, you know, show respect, and then like try to make something that you haven't heard, and like break the all the cliques that happen, and even like, you know, subcultures. It's annoying. It's like, it's just worthless. We should just all be banding together always.
Definitely. That's why like we mess with like electronic artists, DJs, like noise people, whatever. Not tied to one thing. DJs are DJing all sorts of genres now. I mean, DJs are the most important people right now, because there is a fuckload of music out there, and all the time I'm always like going on Mixclouds and all these like stations, Loud Radio, whatever, trying to find like as much music as possible, because like they're the ones that are digging and putting it out there, and like you guys, you know, it's like amazing.
Yeah, and half the DJs I hear now, I feel like they're playing noise music.
Oh, really?
Maybe not in this traditionalist sense that you were talking about of like mid 90s, but really like the stuff that they're playing, you know, it's like avant-garde noise. It's not all just like
cool.
club, super club stuff. We have a track here that you guys wanted to play. It's a collaboration with a Japanese artist. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, like there's a band called Bonanzas that's based in Osaka, and I've been friends with some of the members for a really long time. Some of them played with the Boredom's Orchestra, in playing guitar and bass with Boredom's when we do these large ensembles. But the singer Yasushi Yoshida, he was in a lot of bands that I would watch when I was growing up, like weirdo hardcore bands like Spaz Mom, and he was in Nazca Car for a second, but like anyways, like he came on tour with Bonanzas. We played with a show with them, and then these guys were like, just come over and we'll record something like in the rehearsal studio, and he was totally down, and we actually did it, which I didn't think would happen. But like so we set up, back then we only had like regular triggers, set up the triggers on the drums, and
bodies on the synths.
It's mainly synths on that.
Sushi's like fucking animal on the mic, and it's like literally 36 minutes. We didn't edit any of it. All I did was like mix it down, and it was like, this shit's really cool. Yeah,
so we were just really into how it sounded, but we wanted to finish the EP, No Self Helps EP, so we sort of put it on the back burner. Then we mixed it after, or Nikos mixed it after that. So then we eventually found Death Bomb Mark was down to put it out, so they put it out just a few months ago, as a digital release. So
it's out there.
It's out there.
Take it,
So cool. Kill Alters there with Yasushi Yoshida. That's out now on Death Bomb Arc. And we're going to let Hisham and Nikos from Kill Alters go get some ice cream after this. But first, let the people know where they can hear you, what's coming up next for Kill Alters, where you headed.
We have a new EP we're working on.
Yep.
And hopefully that'll be done sometime this year.
In the fall.
Yeah. And then
maybe a little tour with Machine Girl.
Yeah.
Bonnie's going away to Scotland for a festival to do something completely different. She's going to be one of the leads in a rock or an opera by Roddy Bottum called Sasquatch, and she'll be at Fringe Festival. If you're in Scotland, go check it out.
And then there
Roddy Bottum of Faith No More fame.
Yes, good man. And also there are 2 performances this weekend, right?
This Friday and Saturday at the Muse in Bushwick or Ridgewood sort of area, right off the Wilson Elstad. Go. It's fucking weird as fucking cool.
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to check it.
Word. Well, let's play people something else from No Self Helps, which is out July 28th on Hausu Mountain. It's called The Holder. Stay tuned. I'm Vivian, host. You're listening to Peak Time on Red Bull Radio. I'm going to further play you some drum and bass, and then we will be speaking to Chattanooga, Tennessee-based rapper Baby Mother.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hisham and Nikos, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Here's The Holder.